What's up, guys? Today's build is going to be real simple and real easy for you Archstrider hunters. I'm calling this one the Cloud Serpent because you'll be gliding through people and electrifying with every bite. The aspects we're going to be running is flow state, so that defeating a jolted target makes us amplified, and while we are amplified, our dodge recharges more quickly, we are more resilient while dodging, and also our reload speed is greatly increased. And then lethal current, so that after dodging, our next melee attack has increased range, it jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted targets with melee attacks also blinds them, which doesn't happen that often, but every now and then it's just kind of nice little addition. For your grenade, I like to use arc bolt grenade because it's just very mindless. Throw it out there. It's not going to damage me. It's just going to chain to a couple people around me and help me clear up my area of ads I'm taking care of. For your melee, we're going to be running combination blow so that defeating targets will fully refund your class ability and also give you a small chunk of health back. For your jump, you can run whatever you want. But if you want to be able to feel like you can get in and out of a situation really fast, Blink's pretty fun to use. And then for our class ability, we're going to be using Gambler's Dodge so that we can chain our melee and dodge together and just nonstop be floating around and biting everyone with our melee. Since this is a update of one of my previous builds for hunters, we're going to be running Gathering Storm because on my previous build before Arc 3.0, we had the Arc Staff, which didn't really feel like it fit in. It just kind of took away from the dodge melee combo. But this being a quick one-off just makes it really easy to throw into the build and throw it out, and then get right back to dodge and melee. For our fragments, we're going to be running Spark of Resistance so that we get that extra damage resistance while surrounded, which is basically always, and a little bump in strength, which is nice, but not really necessary since, we can just bypass our strength stat with Gambler's Dodge. And then we're going to be running Spark of Amplitude so that defeating multiple targets while amplified will create a Orb of Power, which is basically every melee kill that we get. It's going to be chaining, taking out tons of people, and we're going to be amplified. So free Orbs of Power. And then Spark of Frequency. Melee hits greatly increase your reload speed for a short duration. You might be wondering why I've pointed out this reload speed buff a couple times now, because one of the exotics we're going to be using for this build is Legend of Agrius, which doesn't have the greatest reload speed, so I wanted to kick that up a bit. For our final fragment, though, we're going to be running Spark of Feedback, so on the off chance that we take a little bit of melee damage, it will increase our own for a brief time. And also giving us that little bump in resilience isn't too bad either. Starting off with our helmet mods, we're going to be doing a Arc Elemental Affinity to take advantage of Well of Ions. So picking up a Arc Elemental Well causes our next melee to deal increased damage. And then double Hands On, simply because we're always going to be using our melee, and this just gets us our super back really fast. We can throw it out and then go right back to our melee chains. On our gauntlets, the two middle mods can be whatever you want for champion mods, but I like to run Protective Light with this build so that if you just start taking too much damage while you're in the middle of things, it gets you a little bit of extra time to get out of the situation while having increased resistance. For our chest piece, we're going to be running Solar Elemental Affinity so that we can take advantage of Supercharged so that we can have more stacks of Charge with Light, making Protective Light last even longer for us. And since we're going to be up in the middle of things, anything kind of far away is going to be harder to take care of, so I like to run a Sniper Damage Resist. For our boots, we're going to be running a Arc Elemental Affinity with Elemental Charge so that we can get Charge with Light off of our wells that we'll be creating. and then Absolution and Invigoration, so that we are getting ability energy from all of those orbs of power we will be making from our fragment. Finally, we have our Cloak. The elemental affinity does not really matter, but we're going to be running Melee Wellmaker and Thunderous Retort, so that since we're always going to be amplified when we throw out our super, it's going to be even higher damage, which is just a nice little thing to add. For our weapons, you can run realistically just about whatever you want, but I like to run Reckless Endangerment with Perpetual Motion and Swashbuckler, since we're always going to have movement in this like build going, and Swashbuckler since it's always going to be at ×5, since we're always going to be using our melee. And then I personally like the Ikelos SMG because I just love SMGs. And so I went with Subsistence and Demolitionist so that it's a really good add clear kind of weapon and give us extra grenades. For the final weapon, I just really like Legend of Acreus, and I felt like it went into this build very easily because of the addition of Trench Barrel, so that a successful melee hit will increase its damage, which is already ridiculous. Its handling, which could use some work since it is 0, which is insane to me, but whatever. And since we're getting that increased handling and reload speed, we're just kind of stacking it all together really nicely. So that is the Cloud Serpent build. For anyone that cares, the Destiny for this look is the Lux Visage. Charmed, I'm sure, for the Liar's Handshake. For the arms, Celestial Cuirass, Strides, and Cloak for the chest piece, boots, and cloak. All with the Genkara shader, just because I felt like it gave it a very clean look with channels of arc energy looking, for the constellations. So just a quick demonstration of how this build works. Very easy for any beginner that's just getting into builds. All those buffs already. That one just took out all those people. There's an orb of power. Dodge, melee. Just keep on running. Pull out Legend of Acreus. You can take out a bunch of people with one shot. And since I am amplified, let's see how much it does to this boss. Still alive? I don't see him, so I think we got him in that one hit. But yeah, this build is a very easy, beginner-friendly build, but it scales into high-level content and is just a very nice thing for any beginner to have. So that has been the Cloud Serpent build. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.